Hey folks, Rocks 2001 here. I thought I would do a comparison between the NES top loader, the redesigned system, compared to the AV Famicom, which is a redesign of the original Famicom. I don't have the original Famicom, and I don't think I'll ever get one, unless I'm a die-hard collector. And I don't have a toaster NES, because I sold that to my good friend Phase Doom Guy. He is pretty much the owner of that NES or front loader toaster NES. The closest thing I have to it is the entertainment computer system made by NASA that I've shown in a video. It's not working, but I'll get it working eventually. So other than that, you probably noticed one of my recent videos I fixed my top loader, which is good. It needed a new capacitor, and the voltage regulator needed replacing as well. So, other than that, let's get on with the comparison. Both of them were released in 1993. They both have similar design cues. Both of them have a logo right beneath the power and reset, except this one says Nintendo Entertainment System, and this one has the Family Computer Famicom logo. And both of them have the Nintendo logo right there. Both of them have a cartridge slot, although as you can tell, this one is a 72 pin and this one's a 60 pin. This one also has a curve on the top because NES cartridges are obviously taller than Famicom cartridges. Famicom cartridges are pretty short. I don't have any 60 pin cartridges, so I can't really compare the cartridges, unfortunately. So all you're going to get is pretty much an adapter that looks like a Famicom cartridge. It's not a Famicom cartridge. It's my adapter to play my American games on this system. Both of them have the controller ports. If you want to use the 4-score or the satellite wireless adapter, you can use that on both of these systems. They work just fine. They're lined up just like the official NES toaster. Both of them will work with a Famicom disk system. This one, you just slot it in here. It's nice and flat to do that. On this one, you need a 60 to 72 pin adapter, and it will work. I've seen it on YouTube. This does work with the Famicom disk system. On the side, I need to mention the AV Famicom has an extra port on the side because if you remember the original wired NES or Famicom, they had wired controllers for player 1 and player 2, and they wanted to use stuff like the zapper or the power pad or stuff like that. That's where the external port comes in. There's also a sticker right here in Japanese, which I can't really translate that, but maybe in the future I'll use my phone to translate it. But for now, well, let me just say that's for the zapper and other stuff. And if you want to do a zapper restore, I can't really help you there. For the American top loader, player 2 will just do the job just fine. For this one, either you have to do the Zapper Restore mod or just use the external port to play your Zapper games. But since I have a flat screen TV, I don't think I'll be playing Duck Hunt anytime soon, unless I find a small CRT for a good deal. Both of them have a red power switch, and both of them have a gray reset button. In fact, they actually use the same components, believe it or not. Now let's get to the back side. This is where things get completely different. The NES top loader, you have your power, your RF switch, and your channel 3, channel 4 switch. But on the AV Famicom, the reason why it's called AV Famicom is, well, you have the same power jack. I'll get into that in a moment, but instead of the RF and channel switch, you got AV multi-out. There is an NES top loader out there, but it's pretty rare, that it looks like a normal NES top loader, but it has the AV multi-out instead of the top loader. That's basically a collector's item. I don't have that. I would like to get my hands on it, but it's pretty pricey. So I don't think I'll be getting that. This is just fine for me, the AV Famicom. Since I don't play Duck Hunt, it's not a big deal to me. And yeah, and if you're curious, on the bottom side, Oh, before we get to that, you got similar ventings on the back. That's very nice. On the bottom, both of them have a serial sticker. They have similar styling cues, so if you wanted to switch bottom shells, you can actually do that if you ever so wish, because these use the same bottom piece. The top piece is different for both. So if you want to put this, the AV Famicom, in the bottom shell of this, or vice versa, you can do that. Just be sure to switch the stickers around, because it would, an NES top loader would be weird having the Famicom sticker on it, and vice versa. But other than that, they're both pretty much similar to regards. So other than that, let's go ahead and switch these back around. Now, let's go ahead and go on to the AC adapters. This is where things get important. This is your NES AC adapter. This will also work on the toaster NES. Let me read it. It's a input of AC of 120 volts, 60 hertz, 17 watts. With output of AC 9 volts and 1.3 amps. This is for the use of the NES 001 and 101 only. On the and this is your Famicom one. This one says it's a AC of 100 volts, 50-60 megahertz, 18 VA, and a DC of 10 volts with the 850 milliamps. This is the one you need for your Famicom. You don't want to swap these two with the wrong AC adapter. If you plug this with your NES, it's not going to work. And if you try using this on a Famicom, you're going to destroy something. You're going to either destroy the capacitor, the voltage regulator, or worse, one of the PPU, CPU, or RAM chips. You don't want that to happen. Use the proper AC adapter. And if you can't find one of these online, use a Sega Genesis Mega Drive Model 1 AC adapter. That has the same voltage as a Famicom AC adapter. Another thing I need to mention, I'm not sure if you know this, but my Famicom AC adapter is modified. I have the plug off of an NES plug because the original Famicom cord, which I don't really like, is so thin. The part right there where it goes into the plug pretty much got kinked. So I tried fixing it, but it wouldn't work again. So I decided to steal one from a spare NES AC adapter, and it works perfectly. It has the same plug style. That's why I took one off of a spare NES one. As long as you know how you do things, it's all good. That's basically, you stick your AC adapter into your console. Now here's where hooking it up to the TV gets completely different. On the NES top loader, well, unfortunately, since you don't have the composite cables or an AV multi-out, you have to use this RF switch thing. You plug this into the back of your console, and you want to be sure this is set to channel 3 or channel 4. And this part goes into the back of your TV. You screw this part into the back, and the picture is not great, but if you have a revised version of the top loader, it may be a different story. But with the AV Famicom, you can use these cables. This is one from my Nintendo 64. You stick this in your back. Another thing I need to mention, if you're going to get an AV Famicom, one more thing. You want to use the official Nintendo brand AV cables. If you try to use third-party ones, you're going to fry your AV Famicom. Don't use third-party AV cables. Well, or in this case, don't use ones that have S-video on it. This can only produce composite. You can't get S-video out of a Nintendo AV Famicom or Nintendo Entertainment System. You're going to ruin your AV Famicom. One guy plugged in a third-party one that had S-video, and first he mentioned in his video that he destroyed the voltage regulator and the capacitor. I always use first-party AV cables. Don't use third-party AV cables for this system, because if you do, you're going to fry something. I have to throw that in. And just like this, you stick this part in the back of your system like, there you go. Now, controller. Both of them come with the same style controller. I don't have the Japanese AV Famicom version, and I don't think I'll be getting that because the cord length is pretty short. I have a bunch of American dogbone controllers, 2 from Nintendo, and 1 from Tomy, and 1 from Retrobit, if you remember those videos I made in the past. I'll probably put links in the description. But this is the controller that comes with it. It's got a nice directional pad. I love how the face buttons feel, and the select and start. I really love how the dogbone controller feels. It's very nice in the hands. I actually prefer this compared to the original rectangular controller. I mean, the rectangular controller is nice, but this makes it much, much nicer. On the back side, it says Nintendo NES controller, model number NES-039, made in Japan, 1993. The AV Famicom version would say different writing on it. And maybe I'll write in the comments on what it would say on that. But that's my comparison between the AV Famicom and the NES top loader. If you want me to do another comparison video where I show the system in action, I'll be happy to do that. I'll demonstrate both systems with Super Mario Brothers. So until then, thanks for watching. This is RikaRox2001 signing off. Have a good one.